Hello and welcome back to my London Film Festival review series. And for my second choice, I am picking out my favorite of the 51 films that I saw at LFF, and my favorite film of 2025 so far, and one of the best films of the decade. That is Bigan's Resurrection. Bigan is a Chinese filmmaker who I've been fascinated with him for a while. Obviously, he's made a few short films, but this is only his third feature and his first since 2018's Long Day's Journey into Night, which is a phenomenal film, completely one of a kind in a sense. Although his debut feature, Cali Blues, I think those two films have a lot of similarities. And obviously, Long Day's Journey into Night, the budget creases are more clear, and the budget increases are even more clear in this. But for a third feature, this film left me completely speechless. And I've been trying to form some form of coherent thoughts on this for a while, ever since I saw it towards the beginning of the month. And this is his masterpiece. I know in my review I used that review as well, but I think these two films have been just two of the standouts this year, and the two standouts of the festival. It's so interesting to see this type of film exist because, you know, uh, the term love letter, and especially to cinema, and like trying to replicate the times and have it to be an ode to the people who made these films in a sense. And this is a film about film, but in a much more metaphysical way, where it uses cinematography as a weapon of memory and illusion that is aware of its own existence and its own lens, in a sense. So this film is kind of, I guess, broken up five chapters and a prologue, epilogue, whatever the ending one is. Um, uh, each of the five kind of uh, told through a different variation of film style, progressing 100 years through time through the 20th century. We start with a silent film, um, which is jaw dropping in itself, and then we kind of in this 40s noir, and then we kind of get to this period when we're in this kind of 70s ish kind of almost Wuxia-esque kind of temple, and the pacing kind of slows down. And this is the kind of chapter that is I see a lot of people debating over these third and fourth chapters, they're saying they don't like them, but this film as a whole is so profound in this kind of deconstruction of dreams, and I felt so seen by this film and as someone attached to reality that is nothing but daydreams, and like a sleeping but conscious creature who's this film kind of is its main focus, is this monster who is one of the last dreamers in his reality, and the film is told through his dreams, which in a sense are films. That's what his dreams are. And as we kind of progress through these, we kind of get um, this level of sincerity and poignancy that is it comes from um, these kind of fragmented illusions and vignettes, and it's almost as if they're being beamed through his mind, and he's so desperate to cling on to them as he's kind of fading out and being hunted down by this woman who is tasked with uh, ending dreamers in a way, but um, she has a bit of care for them, especially um, this monster, if you will. But I found that these kind of love letters to cinema, I don't think this falls under that bracket in a sense. I think it's far too easy to make cheap pastiches on the medium's existence, and trying so desperately to replicate time that many consider superior to now. But what stands out for this, he doesn't doesn't necessarily try to replicate them from within their own time, but it's almost as he's recreating them from now. And obviously that's from now in a contemporary sense, but you see these films like Babylon, which will about making films, but the film is a period piece. This feels like he is making these silent films from a contemporary setting in a way that is, like I said, feels fragmented in the way that society is, and that people should still be allowed to have these dreams, not in a sappy, nostalgic drama kind of way, which is like an ode to the trying times and hard times of these films exist in. Because they're not necessarily about the making of these films, but the style as a weapon itself. And like I said, 5 variations of style. It is an homage, but not, like I said, not one that's caught up in nostalgia. And it's not just, the stupid, I guess, phrase style over substance, because I think most of us know that style can, for the most part, be substance. And he kind of weaponizes historical form as an evolution of the mind, in service of this sadness, as of the necessity of dreaming to keep on living. Rather be a dreamer and die short than live on with somebody who have eternal life but can't dream, in a sense. This film says things like all form is an illusion. But there are many profound images in this film, but we kind of end on this culminating 30-minute one, in this kind of 90s crime, underworld, red tint to everything. It's unbelievable. But we get to this section of it, which is like a static time lapse of these people in the street, and I think there's a Lumiere's brother short film being projected in the street, and there's the people are moving in this time lapse, moving quickly, but the film itself is moving in real time. And that image has just been stuck in my mind for so long, and there's something so visually compelling about this film that it doesn't implicitly tell you everything. It's very much a show don't tell, and which I think is a lot of these kind of cheap pastiches struggle with, that they really are visually uncompelling. We don't just want a meta reflection of Brad Pitt's career told straight into our ears. And there's this cinematic language, these trying to push beyond this kind of judgment day of this kind of Y2K, end of 1999, turn of the millennium, kind of push forward. And to say this is one of a kind is not doing it justice. But this is just another one that deserves to be seen on the biggest screen possible. And maybe another film I'll talk about, but the way Began kind of breaks down this pop culture, like what film and how it inhabits our minds. Like, who chooses that inhabits? Is it our minds? Is it like the simulacrum or the building that it represents or it's housed in? Or is that all? Does it only deserve to be inhabited in our minds? And I think there are so many. There's another film, The Secret Agent, that almost does it similarly. Yeah, this is unbelievable, really.